Hi guys, we have a lot of updates for you, mainly focused around Hyperlane, Bitcoin staking, as well as crazy Elixir news and some SOL updates. So let's get started. First of all, we have just received some absurd, wild news about Elixir launching their own version of Ethena. Apparently, it's going to be decentralized US dollar, so it's literally the same strategy used as in Ethena. They're going to be shorting ETH to create delta neutral positions, which will basically pay a certain amount of yield. So it's a carbon copy of Ethena, basically. But the craziest thing is that news from their Discord from just a couple minutes ago was that they are going to offer you the opportunity to withdraw your capital from Elixir in August with a small penalty of 50% of your deposit being gone, or you can mint this new version of decentralized dollar and then you can redeem it at 100% amount in December, but apparently it's only going to capture the current price of ETH. So if ETH appreciates in value from 3K till December, which it very likely will, there's a chance that your value, your price appreciation of ETH that you may have deposited in Elixir, you don't experience that price appreciation. So if that's true, that's horrible news for everyone who's in Elixir. So we will have to see what the community decides and if they make some changes to this announcement. Because as it stands, it seems that everybody who's in Elixir is in a bit of a problem. Anyway, we will keep you updated on the latest developments, but that's the updates for Elixir that we were so eagerly awaiting for July 31st. So with Ethereum ETFs launched, you might be wondering what the next best airdrop opportunities are. And CC2 Ventures has made a very nice post regarding what you can actually do to best position yourself in the airdrop world. And contrary to popular belief, him and I are actually not the same person. We just have almost identical strategy, philosophy, and approach to airdrops, which has served us incredibly well over the last year and a half. Just like we've been telling you for the last couple of months, his approach is exactly the same: to move away from EVM chains, move away from Ethereum. That ecosystem is so farmed. Guys, airdrops are not dead. They are just requiring you to be a little more creative. The phrase airdrops are dead is just used by people who are too lazy to adapt to the new trends and to actually embrace the change as it appears. He's talking about Bitcoin and Solana ecosystems, and I would increase this exposure to, of course, Ton, Aptos, Sui, and others that we've talked about. But if you're still in EVM chains and you just want to diversify, Bitcoin and Solana are your clear first ways of entry. So let's go really quickly about what he mentions here. Regarding the Bitcoin ecosystem, you have several options. If you don't want to just hold Bitcoin in your ledger, you want to actually use it somewhere, you have some amazing opportunities with Babylon Chain, which has recently launched, and they're offering you an ability to actually use your Bitcoin to secure other networks, other chains, and this is basically like kind of using your assets in the same way you would use ETH to earn yield on your ETH. You can earn yield on your BTC, basically. And there are a couple of best strategies you can use for this. We will talk about this more next week when we go step by step about everything in BRC20 and Bitcoin ecosystem. But in short, you can use your Bitcoin in SOL. There are several strategies, each carrying different degrees of risk. Of course, the easiest and the best way to do this is maybe on Bitcoin mainnet, if you want to actually pay a lot of, gas fees. Gas fees on Bitcoin are a lot, but even these days they're much less than they used to be. You can get away with like $0.50 to $2 in transaction fees, which is unheard of in Bitcoin. So if you want to get exposure to some SOL, which also has a points program, you can just stake your Bitcoin on Bitcoin mainnet for SOL BTC. Alternatively, you can do so on other layer 2s, which will give you a better user experience from fees perspective and maybe even speed. But of course, you also have the option of SOL BTC Babylon, which is going to be, of course, hopefully opened again. The pool caps for this have finished in like 15-20 minutes after they started, so maybe pay attention to this when it opens again. And if you want some extra Ethena exposure, you can also do so through SOL BTC Ethena on these layer 2s. However, they're not amazing APYs, but you're getting some Bitcoin exposure, you're retaining your Bitcoin exposure, and you're getting points from SOL. Now, other options you can use, of course, are pStake Finance. They are offering liquid staking on Bitcoin, but currently the caps are 50 Bitcoin, nowhere near filled, because when I tried to deposit in this, it showed me a warning that you cannot use a wallet that has ordinals or runes. What? Everyone who's in Bitcoin has one of these at least, so that might be one huge reason not to actually go with this. But again, if you're just starting with Bitcoin, you don't have any runes or ordinals, then you can actually go with this because they're going to have an airdrop also in the future, and this gives you some nice exposure to Bitcoin. And lastly, he also mentions about how you can also go into Bitcoin layer 2s, and the primary player in Bitcoin layer 2s is Stacks. So here you can go on Stacking DAO or Bitflow, but personally I went with Stacking DAO because you can stake your STX tokens, which are price appreciating very nicely over the last 12 months. You can get some nice APYs, like nothing special, but still better than nothing. And they also have a points program, so you'll participate in that. And finally, quick reminder that Fractal Bitcoin is coming and is going to be offering incredible returns potentially if you get in on that early. So make sure to get started with Bitcoin's ecosystem in August to be ready for the explosion that's coming in September. And finally, if you want some alpha, we have our legend in our Discord, Crypto Fox. He's been telling me all the crazy strategies he's been using. He's one of the earliest bitmaps adopters, and he's very knowledgeable when it comes to Bitcoin ecosystem. So if you want to stay updated, you won't be wrong by giving him a follow on Twitter. And if you want access to real alpha in real time, you can always join our Discord. We have many different active airdrop strategies and channels that we track on a daily basis. For example, the latest update for Bitcoin ecosystem regarding Fractal from CryptoFox himself was that you can either hold SATs or any BRC20 tokens in your wallet, as well as the Uniworlds from the Unisat team NFT. Now, of course, there are many options to make it in crypto, but having a community around you that will really help you in your journey is a huge plus. You can check out our subscriptions on our official website for Discord and the airdrop tracking application that helps you keep organized. Now, moving into Solana, he's talking a little bit about Meteora, Phoenix, and Tensor. Meteora, of course, is one of those platforms that lets you yield an incredible 0.3 to even 1%, 1.2% in some cases. So it is incredible opportunity because nobody is talking about Meteora Airdrop because it's not obvious. But if you go through their documentation, you will know that 10% of their total supply of Meteora token is reserved for the airdrop. So this is an incredible way to actually get great yield and airdrop points for their airdrop. You always want to be looking for pools that have the smaller total value locked but high amount of volume. For example, this one is more than 10x the volume compared to total value locked. You always want to try to enter these kinds of pools and huge APRs. This is daily, this is not yearly. I thought this was yearly first time, but 1.25% on a super tight range per day. Wild. Also, I would maybe add Asset Dash as one of the Solana airdrops potential because they will very likely have a token at some point in the future and perhaps an airdrop. And instead of just going every time to Jupiter, you can swap a couple times on Asset Dash, maybe use their portfolio manager or even buy the Elements NFT for around $200. Not financial advice, but considering that they will likely airdrop in the future, this is some exposure to Solana that you can also retain. Other than that, of course, Tensor is the biggest NFT marketplace. You can farm that a little bit if you know how to trade NFTs, and you can also swap on Phoenix just to diversify your Solana exposure. Now, regarding the interoperability sector, we already had airdrops from Layer 0, from Wormhole, and from Polyhedra, but there's one more huge giant in the room, and that is Hyperlane. We're going to be talking about Hyperlane later in the video because we have some cool updates, but for now, just remember that Hyperlane is the biggest one you cannot fade. This might be the one of the last really not linear airdrops that for a couple clicks may give you a couple thousand. We gotta hope. And lastly, he also mentions that you can also retain some exposure to ETH by going with these scroll Linea eigenlayer farms. And personally, I also have some exposure to that, but only because I want ETH exposure, and I haven't found anything that is remotely similar than just having my ETH on scroll and eigenlayer. So this is not giving you huge yield, and it's mostly whale game, but it's better than having your ETH just rot away in your wallet. Or maybe other way to get exposure to ETH is through leveraged positions, but unless you're a trader and you don't really know what you're doing, I would really stay away from leverage. So yeah, that's a quick TLDR on the current state of airdrops. There are still abundant opportunities. but the fact of couple clicks and getting a couple thousands of dollars like 2 years ago with Optimism Arbitrum, those days are gone. You really have to get creative. You really have to find some other means of catapulting your net worth from maybe 5 figures to low 6 figures. Because as you know, there's been very, very huge opportunities in airdrops over the last 2 years, but we will be trying to cater the content in the next couple of months that all the money that you make from airdrops, you can smartly allocate through portfolio management and maybe even trading. So expect more content like that in the next couple of months. We will still be covering airdrops because airdrops offer great returns and amazing ways to launch your wallets. But once you're in the mid 5 figures or low 5 figures, you kind of want to use different strategies than just airdrop farming to really make generational wealth in crypto. All right, moving into Hyperlane news. They have recently integrated on Minter.Merkle with Zora chain, which means you can use the Minter-Merkle platform to go in and out of Zora. Great news for all Zora farmers and Hyperlane farmers, because for a small price, you can get a unique Hyperlane transaction. Other piece of news has to do with Forma chain. If you've been buying NFTs on Modularium by creating a Hyperlane transaction to go with bridge.forma.art from Celestia, by bridging TIA from Celestia to TIA on Forma chain and buying these NFTs, if you hold these NFTs, you can get a Discord role in their Forma chain Discord. Depending which NFT you have, you can claim the role. And lastly, quick reminder to also use 0A as a unique Hyperlane transaction, because you can use a refuel functionality freely. And this one is a bit more tricky for bridge sending NFTs cross-chain because you cannot spam it. But using it organically a couple times a month is a great way to get unique transactions. Refuel is very organic, but these NFTs bridging, be careful with this one. Finally, some crazy news from Rage Trade. So they've had their token launch on July 31st, and the $6 million was raised in 15 minutes. I was looking at the screen and I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, it was 2/3 sold out in the first minute and then the rest in the next 15. Big congratulations to the team. We are very looking forward to the airdrop that's coming in the next couple of days as well. Good luck with the listing, and yeah, we will keep you updated with every new development. It is still one of my favorite perp DEX aggregators because you can farm Hyperliquid. I imagine that because of Hyperliquid speculation, this was sold out so quickly. I don't know, but either way, it is very exciting to see such great interest in this platform, especially since it only had like 4,000 users. So, okay. And another thing to do with the trading airdrops, if you're farming the Storm trade on Telegram, you need to pay close attention to this on their documentation. If you are trading $1 million in volume, you're going to be getting 2,000 RPs, which is their airdrop points basically. So depending on your volume, you can decide how much you're going to trade, 1,000, 10,000, 100K or 1 million. It is by far the best to make $1 million in trade, because this airdrop might actually cook because it's on Telegram. And of course, it's very underfarmed, friction is real. And yeah, this is definitely something to consider. Keep an eye out on their documentations and choose the trading volume you're going to do. And finally, we have a surprise airdrop from the Farcaster community. We got the Moxie token. Currently, the price of the token is nothing great. You're getting like maybe $30, $40 worth of value, and it's vested until 2025 in January. But hey, free money is great. So great news for Farcaster users. If you're still not in Farcaster, consider joining, because there are many surprise airdrops all the time. And finally, there's also the Linea ENS names. You can claim it for free if you have completed the Linea Proof of Humanity. So if you're farming Linea, may as well just get your name for free, no cost. And that's a wrap for all the updates regarding crypto airdrops and DeFi for today. If you like the content, you know what to do. Like and subscribe with bell notifications on. If you're serious about crypto and airdrops, we're waiting for you in our Discord. For any questions, drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and till next time, have an amazing day.